My first question would be, how many people were involved with the Map App project?
With the Map App project, there were probably anywhere from 5 to 10 students working on it individually. There was one student who was mainly in charge of most of the development and back-end development. The way we work here is we have staff members who actually manage, and they may actually work on the project as well, but the majority of the work is actually done by students. In particular, the Map App was done by one student developer, and then several other students were also part of the graphics, developing all the graphics and the map graphics and some icons and so forth like that. So at any one given time, there was any time between 5 and 10 students working on it.
Okay, fantastic. And then what kind of processes and or difficulties did you have with the Wi-Fi system and getting that to work, or having the GPS navigation? Is that all built in to like the code, or?
Yeah, that was all relatively straightforward. A lot of that's documented. That the majority of issues that were any kind of development hurdles, if you will, were usually internal, or were usually with somebody wanted this as part of the app, and then this was taken out and changed. It was a learning process, so there were a lot of changes that were made during the process. But those were probably the hardest, which were kind of hurdles that were put in place by ourselves that really didn't have anything technically to do with it.
Okay, and then with Apple and the App Store, were there any technical hurdles with that, trying to make it part of that program?
No, not really, not for that particular, because that particular project went through very quickly. The way Apple works is you have to submit it to them, and then they approve the application, whether they want to put it on the App Store or not. If there are any changes that need to be made where it doesn't fall into their licensing program, they'll send it back to you, you make the appropriate changes, and go from there. For this particular application, there weren't any real hurdles because it was a pretty straightforward project.
Okay. And then I guess my last question's more on, Ball State.
Mm-hmm.
Do you see like a curriculum coming about for app development and having much more of a structured way of presenting that kind of project?
Well, I mean, there are a lot of classes that are actually at Ball State which don't develop or don't work with app development directly that I know of. There may be that I'm not aware of. I can't really speak for the whole Ball State. I can only speak for myself, but I know there are a lot of classes at Ball State that get you into developing for a variety of applications for a variety of platforms. You got to remember that application development is just one part of where you can take something and actually distribute it. You can do it on the web, you can do it for a computer, you can do it for PC or Mac, you can do it for iPhone, Android, iPad, so forth. So it's really, you can build one application and deploy it on many platforms. Application development is obviously becoming a big part of the way that a lot of businesses are done, a lot of fun things, games, and so forth. So there will probably be more of a need that will be more focused on app development. But again, my particular department, we focus that because we try to give students an immersive learning situation, and that just happens to be the route that we've gone and been successful at.